Hey Gully, welcome or welcome back. So I'm guessing you've clicked on this video because you want to know the secrets to tent life hacks. Well, with over 12 years experience living this way, you can guarantee we've got this well sussed, and we're about to expose and share with you a good 10 of them. So let's have a look, shall we? Now, when you're living in a tent and you're nomadic, you will find that there will be the odd occasion that you'll have to leave your setup and risk it for a biscuit because you've got to go and run an errand, or as Mod and I do a lot of odd jobbing, sometimes we have to go and do some odd jobbing. So we have a tactic, and this has worked very well. I mean, so far we haven't had a phone call, but let's just show you a method that we've incorporated for a long time now, just in case someone comes across our setup, so they're not immediately thinking, I'm going to rip the shit out of that. So we use this. Now, of course, one of the things that is very important with making sure that you write something like this down is to ensure that your camp reflects what you're saying. So this is, again, we don't do the fires. So if anyone comes in here, they can see that we're very tidy, very clean. There's no evidence of any ground fires whatsoever. Nobody needs to worry that their woodland is at risk, or even that the foliage, or that there's any risk of wildfires or anything like that. Also, talking of clean and tidy, let's discuss rubbish, shall we? If you've been watching for a while, you will know that we manage our food by keeping it off the ground, keeping it on a rope, a string that nothing can really get to it. But in order to keep this bag as minimal as possible, we have some tactics that we use. So I'm going to show you a little something. You've probably heard us mention a few times that when we're at the shop and we're collecting our food, what we'll do is any packaging that we can get rid of and put the item into a food bag, we'll do that. You don't want to just reduce your rubbish. You also want to make sure that any rubbish that you do have isn't sitting on the floor in any kind of bags whatsoever, because all that's going to do is invite vermin. Now, we just tie it to the apex of our tent. But if I wasn't tying it here, I'd be tying it next to the food bag. But whatever the case is, I will not be putting it on the floor, and I certainly wouldn't leave it on the floor overnight. You'll be surprised how fast that can cause you a very big problem. Keep it up high, out of the way. Critters can't smell it and they can't get to it. So what about food waste? Because you don't necessarily want to be collecting food waste and hanging it in your door. It could get a bit stinky, you know? So we have another little tactic for food waste. Well, in fact, there's 3 tactics that we use for food waste. The first and most obvious one is Dog, because he loves to do some pre-washing up. He's the best dishwasher we have. And if there's any leftovers, he's quite happy to help us out with that. If there's stuff, though, like, for example, peelings and stuff that you can't really, the dog's not interested in, what we'll do is we'll either put it into a cat hole. So when you're going to doing your stuff, your morning run, all you need to do is make sure that you take that waste that you've already put in a bag and hung up out the way, take that waste, drop it into the cat hole, do your business, bury it. Job's a good one. Just to reiterate, 3 options. You can either leave it in a bag, hang it high and out of the way, probably not on the apex of your tent because of the smell, dog, or cat hole. But don't, whatever you do, please don't just scatter your food waste everywhere. I mean, we don't like to do that because, again, what are you inviting? Vermin. Not a good idea.
Now you can see there's something dodgy with my fuel. Right, this is one thing I've not seen on the internet, and no one tells you this. So you've come back, your tent's full of flies, especially in the summer. Flies, mozzies, sometimes the odd wasp and things like that. With nail varnish remover, or we use the bottle of nail varnish remover with isopropyl alcohol rub, something like that in it. Simple, open it up, give it a little squeeze like that and go. So what it does is it fumigates your tent in a sense, and all the flies just jump into it. It's like you've just, stunned them all, and they just jump into your bottle and you get rid of your fly problem. See, you're not getting flies on the inside of your netting because that's what your netting is for, right? That's exactly what it's for. But do you know what? It just really annoys me at night time. Just a little bit of that out the door. Jobs are good, and it works really bloody well. And Do you know what? The flies, they soak up the fuel, so they still burn when you're trying to make a coffee in the morning or cook at night, right?
So another hack, don't be afraid to modify your tent. A lot of people will just buy tents and, oh, well, it didn't quite work out because this wasn't right or that wasn't right, didn't have the door in the right place, blah, de blah, right? We've heard it all. But the thing is it's not that difficult to modify a tent, particularly when you're a nomad and you're getting lots of tents. I mean, when we've thrown one tent away, when we've got a new one, we'll always strip the tent that we're going to throw away from anything useful that we might be able to use to modify our new tent. For example, I needed another door. Now, I'm going to show you the obvious reason of why I needed a T-door on my side in particular. Because I'm the one that's cooking all the time, I need to access my bag for all sorts of different things, cooking materials, seasonings maybe, if it's not in the food bag hanging up, or whatever the case is. This is really, really annoying. So we just, in our old tent that we got rid of, we took the zips, because the zip is a nice bendy zip that I just stitched in. You can see it was a really rudimentary stitch. I wasn't being fancy. It's just so that I've got a zip this side so that I can access my bag or I can get out either way. Whatever the case is, we've also got a space now that we can let a lot of air in. I would just say that if you've got a tent that isn't quite suiting your needs, but it's perfect in every other ways, see how you can modify that. You must be able to find an old tent somewhere that you can take parts from and replace or fix up your new tent. But don't be afraid to play around. Have a go.
Now, one thing they really don't talk about, anyone, I've never seen anyone talk about it, because, you know, they're always trying to get those deflating mats, we call them, you know, those big blow up things and Lido looking things and all sorts of shit. We just use our little Constantina Thermarest Sea Light. But one of the things they really don't talk about in any video that we've ever seen anywhere is the importance of a hip dip. Now, what do I mean by a hip dip? So when you lay down in bed, then basically your head and your neck and your spine are completely out of sync. You know, they're not in alignment. So you want something that sinks your hips and it stops bursitis and things like that. You start getting the painful hips or, you know, sore limbs and stuff like that. And the easiest way, I shit you not, the easiest way I found out how to do this is watch. I go, oh, I've got a lump there. I've got a lump there. Yeah, that's nice and gone now. So now I need a hip dip. So where am I going to be laying? I think my hip was about there. Oh, that is perfect. You can lay down and your hip sinks right into it. Right, so when I've got my pillow and I'm up like this, my back, I know my back is near enough perfectly aligned. Oh, it's brilliant, especially for a side sleeper. You'd be winning. And if you're a back sleeper, you're used to hammocks, you've got like a nice dip to put your ass into, and you're like, in a dip then. It's awesome. But yeah, hip dips, sort out that land, you'd be living the dream.
Another thing that nobody really talks about is the importance of a canopy. When we are camping, we make sure that we're always in the trees, in the thick of it, as any of you that have been watching know. The thing is when you're busy chasing views, you're often exposed and out in the open. When you're in the trees and under the canopy, you reduce your condensation because generally grass doesn't grow on the ground in a woodland because of the canopy. And it's grass that's going to really cause you a problem with that condensation. Now, the other thing the canopy offers is in the winter, it offers us, well, not necessarily the canopy, because the canopy tends to go unless you're in an evergreen woodland, but the woods itself, the trees, they help to protect you, from any harsh weathers that might be coming in. Now, on that note, do be sure that you check for any widow makers, because that is something that a lot of people, even ourselves, have been guilty of not paying attention to once in a while. Thankfully, nothing major has ever happened, but you do occasionally, after you've already pitched, go, oh, Should have thought of that, right? So of course in the winter it's going to protect you like that, but they'll say in the summer you've got the coolness of the woodland. So instead of sticking your tent out in the middle of a field where you're just going to bake to death, and not only that, it will ruin the integrity of the fibre of your tent. It will change the colour of it. The colour will fade, but it makes the tent go a little bit crispy. Is probably the best way I could describe it. So when you're packing it down and you're putting it back up again, all of those creases start to affect the integrity of your waterproofing. So not a great idea, especially as if you're living this way. Okay, for a weekend, I'm sure no one's bothered and it's not going to affect anything. But when you're living this way and you're doing it 24/7, that's something you really want to take into consideration. This is my first review, so please go easy on me. I'm not used to doing this, but if you do want to skip, I won't torture you. You can just skip to the timestamp up here and you won't have to go through it with me. Let's just talk about the waterfly. Some of you, well, we in England call it a bum bag. It's also called a running belt, but for you Americans, I believe you call it a fanny pack. We won't get into what that means for us, but it's quite good. I mean, I'm really impressed, and believe it or not, I wasn't too keen on the idea of a bum bag because it's really not my style at all, but I have had a bit of a problem in carrying my outdoor phone because it's a very bulky, hardy phone, and it doesn't fit in pockets, and without having to carry a big handbag, which again, not really my style. I don't mind the little tiny slip bags, but I can't fit the phone in there. However, this thing is amazing. I mean, you can just do it with one hand. Well, I say one hand. I've got a big phone in, so I'm going to do two. There we go. Fits in there nice. I mean, see how chunky this phone is. So it's really amazing that this belt will stretch to accommodate it. You know, I mean, it takes a little bit of a wiggle, but because it's made of nylon and it's stretchy, it's really easy to do up. There we go. I've even got my little rag in there next to it. It's got 3 pockets. Now, one little pocket here, and although they say it's water resistant, I thought I would put that to the test. Now, admittedly, we haven't had a lot of rain, so, but we have had some moist mornings. I'm outdoors, so, you know, if ever there's any mist or fog, then it can affect all of our stuff. But I thought I would put it to the test. Now this, and I know it's a bit grim, but it's not been used, I promise, it's fresh. But I put one in there, a little tampon, just to see if it would expand at any time while I had the belt. Now this has been in there the whole time I've had it, which is probably now a good few weeks, worn every day, and that's still intact. So that was just me to test its waterproofing or water resistance. So it is water resistant, not waterproof, but I have not had a problem. Also, so they've got the little pocket. Then you've got this other little pocket, which I find extremely handy for my glasses and my headphones. Now, I've also got a little headphone thingy here, so I can poke it through there, pop it in my ears. Happy days. Now, one of the other things they say about this is that it's non-wobble. Well, I'll show you a little thing in a minute about that. But another thing I want to point out is when they say it's non-wobble, it's because it's got this big, thick elastic band as a waistband. And it's got a little clasp at the back, which is an easy release. Ta-da. Now, yeah, okay, I would say that with this waistband, I mean, you can get it pretty tight, but even on its loosest setting, if you're a bigger person, you've got a bigger waist, even on its loosest setting, it's got loads of stretch to it, so it's fairly accommodating. My only issue with this band is every time I put it on, I have to tighten the band. It's almost like it starts to slip itself out when you're wearing it, but that is the only issue I have with this at all. Well, I say the only issue. Let's have a little look at the no bounce. Now, clearly, most people aren't carrying a great big heavy duty phone in their fanny pack, bum bag, running belt, whatever you want to call it. So I am pushing that to the extreme. But it does show you that the limited amount of bounce that you get from that, right? So I'm dead impressed with it. It's definitely a keeper for me. And I mean, see the link in the description. They offer it in lots of different colours, and they say that you can wash it, but to hand wash it. I mean, I'm an outdoors girl. I'm not washing the blooming thing. It's fine. The dirtier it gets, the more it blends in, so I'm all right with that. But yeah, I'm absolutely made up about it, and I do. Honest to God, I wear it every day because it's just so handy, And the other thing that I liked about it, the reason I don't like bum bags, fanny packs, whatever you want to call them, is they're pretty ugly looking. Like that. They just look like a monstrosity. I think this looks quite cool. Huh? I think I'm rocking it. Like that. Huh? I love it. I'll say it's a good buy. Definitely go and have a look at them. I mean, you won't be disappointed. They're good. Go and have a look. Take your pick. Find the colour for you. Pink ain't my colour. Black's working for me just fine. And let's get back to the video, shall we? Thanks for your perseverance.
Another top tip, a bit of a secret. Now, guy lines. Guy lines, everybody hates guy lines. Everyone falls over them. Everyone ends up trying to break an ankle now and then, don't they? Or as you saw back from the beginning of this year, in the January, the dog, he wanted a squirrel, and he ripped the tent apart. It happens. But if in an emergency and you need to take down your tent super fast, carabiners. Always use carabiners. I mean, these are nice, lightweight. I think for a set of 5 of them, you need 4 for a tent pretty much. A set of 5 of them on Amazon, I think was about $7.99. They're absolutely fantastic. Lightweight, clip onto the tent, nice and easy, job done. As you can see, it's on the branch behind me. Now I could fart ass around trying to make sure I do those slip loops that I can do quick release and then have to tie all this paracord up or the guy lines and fold that into the tent in the emergency. Wildfires, they're absolutely rife at the moment. If one happened here, I'm unclipping or I'm getting my neck knife, yeah, and I'm cutting all my lines. I'm just cutting them and I'm getting out. Not only that, is the reason we've used this tent, have a look at that video that we've done the tent on. The reason we use the poles as well, or a poleless tent, trekking pole tent, is if somebody's coming around and you've ridgelined yourself, they can see you, you can see them. You can quickly collapse that tent down, wait for the danger to pass. Danger, people, youths trying to piss it up in the woods, playing music, oof, oof, oof. You hear them before you see them. You can quickly unclip everything, put it down, and job's done. You're out of the way, you're stealth, you're quiet, you know your gear. And that's the importance of actually getting to know your gear. I mean, it is good at times. Everyone loves to take your time, set up, enjoy it, leisurely. It's not a race, The tortoise and the rabbit, tortoise won, didn't it? Took us time, knew it's shit, rock on. But when you're packing away, it's good, bit of fun between your mates. I know Hampshire Outdoors and Survival have done it. I know Life's a Hobby has done it. All sorts of people like that. Tent challenges. See how quick you can pack it down, roll it all up, get all your kit together, and off you go. If in an emergency, in our environment out here at home, we can pack up all of this in about 9 minutes. Everything, all of it, into our bags. If something was coming through the woods or a wildfire was completely ripping through here, for instance, I know, sod it, I'm going to leave the tent, I'm going to put my bag in there, I'm going to put my electronics and probably my clothes. That's all I need. I've always got the tarp strapped to my bag pretty much. So why not? Why not just go practice? Practice makes perfect, right? Practice, try it out. See how, tell you what, challenger, how fast can you pack away all of your gear and bug out? Let us know down in the comments.
Now, I haven't seen anyone do this either, so this could be a good one for you. But if you're trying to stay low-key, covert, you don't really want to light yourself up like a Christmas tree in the woods, but particularly when you're sat in your tent, because when you put a light on in a tent in the dark, your whole tent illuminates, right? So, and you can see the shape. It's not just like a torch and a light that you can see through a woodland. You see a whole tent. And so we come up with a little method. It's not really that important, I guess, in the summer because you've got the long nights. But in the winter, if we need to use this light, which is rare because we tend to do anything we need to do in the daylight, but I'll show you a little trick.
stinky.
It's probably better if you don't use a stinky sock, because when this lights up and it's heating your sock, it might smell a little bit. But I'm just doing this because otherwise I've got to fish out a sock from my bag. But basically, there you go. This will dim that light much better. And if you find that it's not dimming it enough, I will literally roll the sock over and bring it back down again. So it's in like a little hub up there. You'll be surprised, as though it's a low light, lowers the light, you'll be surprised how quick your eyes will adjust to it. And as I say, probably best not go for a stinky one, eh? And get it back on my toes.
Last but not least, I'm fed up. Fed up. Look at me. I'm a man. I'm fed up of watching people make tent pegs. They go, oh yeah, I need to get a notch in there. What are you fart arsing around for? You can find bits of wood round on the shop floor. You can find bits of wood around like this on the forest floor. You've got your tent peg, right? Stuck it in the ground, it ain't coming out, right? But let's have a look. Now, you've only got that much of a hole. Oh, it only goes to there. You've only got that much to put in the ground, right? Let me show you a little secret. Bonus tip for anyone that's got tent poles, pegs, and they can't get their pegs into the hole. If you can't get it in the hole, you need to sort it out. Loop it through. And now you've got an even bigger hole, and you've got your stopper at the top. And then what you can do, stick that in the ground, tighten up appropriately. And also the same on these. If you can't fit a big stick into the ground, you see that loop right there. If you can't stick a big stick, stick a big stick through the loop. If you can't stick a stick through that, just loop it over, and then you've got a much bigger loop hole to stick it into, right? Yeah, stop sticking things in holes. Don't overthink it. Not only that, is sometimes the ground can sometimes be really super soft. You can be like on a bed of roots and stuff like that. Finding a decent sized stick that you can just shove in the hole, yeah, you're going to be laughing, and you're not going to lose your tent pegs. The amount of times over many, many years, I mean 40 years or so, been wild camping, not just living it, but wild camping, the amount of tent pegs people lose, even places we've gone to, you know, you find tent pegs everywhere because people have lost them. If you're using sticks, you ain't going to pay for tent pegs.
Well, hopefully you found these hacks helpful. We're here to help. We love to share a little with you, and this is only a little sneak peek.
Yes.
You can look forward to us sharing some more secret hacks with you further down the line.
Yeah, so like, subscribe, share around and all that hype, and you'll be notified, and more videos to come, eh? Until next time, happy hopping.